Hi everyone, this is Amanda. I work with the Community Development Office, and we're just going to do a quick tutorial video about the new request for proposals materials for public services for this year. Just as a bit of context, so we decided to move these materials online to a virtual platform through smartsheet.com because for a couple of reasons, one of which, because of the nature of the pandemic, we wanted to follow safety guidelines and continue to minimize contact between people and individuals. And so we thought having an online platform for all of this would be a good way, a good start to all of that. We also felt like having a secure, virtual housing for all of these materials is probably a great idea, considering that not everybody is in the office at all times. We can have access to these materials from different locations. Also, Smartsheet is we have a license and an account with them, and they've worked very well for us in the past with a couple of other grant programs, and we felt that it was a secure way to begin moving things into a more virtual space. So without further ado, this is the application for the grant proposals this year. On the left-hand side in the blue kind of area, we have just a general overview of what's to be expected. What I would encourage everybody to do before beginning the application at all is, if you see here, it says, please review the full request for proposals directions here, and it gives you a link. I'm going to click on that. And this is a downloadable PDF. You can download it to your own device and access it anytime. It has all of the directions and instructions on what to expect for this application. We have here, if you have if you have questions, to direct them to Ashley Williams, our CDBG administrator, and here's their contact information. Some information about the procedure, important dates. So proposals must be received no later than February 26th. We have required documentation, which we'll go over a little bit more later, and kind of building out of all of the funding priorities for Medford. And you definitely want to pay attention to these. There are important links and just references to other things that may be of interest. The questions that you'll see in some of these fillable forms and attachments that we'll talk about, etc. So you would definitely want to check those out first. But let's go back to the application. Here. So yeah, that's kind of what's here on this left-hand side. On the right is some information about what to expect for the documentation we need. As you can see here, there are 9 items listed. The first item, agency and program information, is actually already included on this form that you're going to fill out. So you don't have to attach anything separate for that. For these remaining items, you'll notice that the first 3 items have asterisks affixed to them. So those are forms that we provide to you at the end of this application, and also in the RFP directions. They're provided as fillable PDFs, and I'll explain how to download those and attach them a little bit later on. Something else we'll just want to make note of here. So we ask that folks include their most recent audit. If obviously an audit can be a really long, lengthy document, and could be kind of unreasonable to expect anyone to scan and upload it. If this is the case, then you can contact Ashley Williams and arrange to either drop off or mail the file. After documentation, we have some just general conditions information. So, what to expect should you be awarded and move forward in an agreement with the city. Some brief stuff here about compliance, and then there's a link to, a full list of general terms provided at the end there. All right, so this is the first part of the application. It's just some general agency information, stuff that you might have included in your cover sheet in years prior. And anything with a little red asterisk next to it is required that you fill out. If you don't put anything in the field, then the form won't let you submit. You may notice that we have a couple of contact information fields here. If there's overlap in those contacts, so for example, if you have, you've listed your executive director and their contact information, and they also happen to be the project director, you can just write, same for these fields. If you don't put anything in them, you'll see this comes up when you try to submit the form. It says this field is required. So it does need to have something in there. And it's helpful for us to just see something, if it's the same as the executive director, this is a helpful note to put. But yeah, just all of the kind of standard information. Just a note here, if you're applying or providing a proposal, we will need a DUNS number from you. If you're not sure if you have one or if you need help looking it up, feel free to reach out to our office. We can help you with that. This next section is about program information. It asks you to choose, what kind of beneficiary are you, or how are you measuring beneficiaries, I guess. And so, these are the two options. So I clicked individuals. This next area talks about presumed categories. So if you could list the number of individuals in this case that fit into these presumed categories that your program intends to support. So I put 2 individuals for the first couple here, and these don't apply in this case. Another 2 people here. For this next question, it says estimated number of low to moderate income beneficiaries. So these are individuals that were not already included in the presumed categories fields up above. They're separate from that, but they are low to moderate income. So I put 5 individuals here. And then estimated total number of beneficiaries. So this should equal to the number of low to moderate income beneficiaries, as well as any number of individuals from the presumed categories section. And then in addition to that, any additional beneficiaries that don't fall into those categories. So we have 5 plus there are 6 in the presumed category section, so that's 11, and then another 2 individuals that don't fall into those categories, which means 13 total. And for letter D, we need an estimated percentage of low to moderate income beneficiaries. So this is actually just equal to the number from letter A plus the number from letter B divided by the number from letter C, and then multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. Last thing I'll note from this section is if you are intending to meet the CDBG national objective of low to moderate income area benefit, we need a little bit of information from your agency about how that determination was made. If you have more questions about what we're talking about here, please feel free to reach out to our office. All right, so this one of these later sections here is our required documents section. It has a list of all of the required documentation, as well as at the bottom here, a file upload tool. So for the documents that you're going to need, some of them are items that you'll have to scan yourself and create PDFs. But the first three are fillable PDF forms that we provide for you. So to access these forms, you click on the link provided, and it will bring you to a page where you can download it. And you need to, before filling anything out, you need to download the form. So I'm going to download here, and let me make sure that I'm sharing this correctly. Okay, so this is my file explorer. I want to save the download that I just made to a permanent place on my device, or at least a place that's accessible to me and that is not a temporary file. So this was the download. I'm going to move it to this file, public service RFP. And here is the file. Click on that. Let me make sure it's sharing that screen. Okay. So yeah, this is the first form that we ask you to fill out. It's a program description. It's kind of the narrative piece, and it has 8 questions. We provided space on the form for each of the 8 questions. As you can see, there's like different amounts of space that's allotted. So for example, for question 1, we're just looking for a brief summary of the program, something that would be easy for the mayor and city council to review. Something to be careful about. So we ask that everybody only use the space provided to answer questions. If, for example, I'm typing, and you see here I'm getting close to, I reached the end. But instead of cutting you off, what it does is, let's say I'm typing, you see how it allows you to, it kind of creates a scrolling paragraph. And what's unfortunate about this is we can't see all of the text, and it doesn't print this way. It won't be visible printed. And so we really ask that folks kind of refrain from going over the amount of space that we provide here. So once you hit the end of this block of space, that's all the space you've got. So just wanted to, make a note of that there. We give a lot more space for question 2 because that is kind of, where you will describe the bulk of your program. Please don't feel like you have to fill the entirety of the field provided. If you can say what you need to say in less space, then that is great. And yeah, we have spaces for each question. When you're done with that, you're going to want to save, or if you're like me, save as you go, because you never know when your computer is going to fail you. So I just saved here, and I can X out of it. Go back to the application. Great. So let's say that I completed my attached fillable forms, and I want to attach them here. So you go to the browse files and attach your documents. Oh, and you can just ignore that because I already attached that file. So we'll try one more time. There we go. Great. Yeah, as I said, these 3 forms here will be fillable PDFs. We, have a finite amount of space provided, and hopefully are fairly well explained within the forms themselves. If you have questions, you can reach out to our office. We'd be happy to talk them through with you. So let's say you feel that you've uploaded all of the necessary documentation. There's this next section, which is actually a document check. I'm going to uncheck all of these. So this is both for us on our end as we're processing these applications, and hopefully it could be useful also for you. It's really helpful on our end to see, so basically what you'll be doing is checking off if you've attached these items. So let's say, okay, yes, I attached this. I've got all of these forms done. I put in, my IRS status information. Oh, I'm going to leave this blank because the audit that I have is really long. So I'm going to mail it in after the fact. And yes, I've got my, active registration proof. So because I haven't checked off this box here, this question is going to pop up. It says, please provide an explanation for not submitting certain documentation. It is possible that these documents may not be applicable to you, and if that's the case, you can indicate it in the field below. So in this case, I said, okay, I'm going to mail in my audit. I'm not going to include it here, so I'll just write this. I'm going to mail in my audit documentation. This is helpful for us because as we're going through, we can see, we haven't gotten this document yet from this agency. Maybe we should follow up with them. And again, helpful tool for anyone who's applying to just kind of check through and make sure that they've got everything. And lastly, so because this is a virtual form as opposed to like a paper document that you're putting in, we just thought it would be smart to have something at the end that says, the applicant represents and certifies to the best of their knowledge and belief that the information on the form is true and complete and accurately describes the proposed projects. And so by submitting, you're certifying that this is the case. Before you submit your application, we encourage everybody to go through and just review, make sure everything is included. And I would definitely encourage anyone to, so if you want a copy of your responses, which I think everyone probably does, you should check this box and you can provide an email address. If you want a copy of your responses and you forget to check this box, I think it's possible for us to send you something. But this way it's, immediately sent to you, you have it, you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, that is it. When you're done, you click submit and that should be it from there. If for some reason, so I like to tell folks that for any sort of, especially longer responses, maybe for this question of the geographical area, where you're doing some describing. One of the limitations of Smartsheet is that unfortunately it does not allow you to save your application as you're going through it. So if there's some sort of an issue or when you hit submit, if there's a problem or I don't know, your computer freezes or whatever, it unfortunately won't save the information that you've already put through. So I always encourage folks to have maybe an open Word document or Google document that has, maybe you type out that information in that document and then you paste it over in the form field when you're ready. Because that way, at least it's saved elsewhere in case of some sort of an issue. But that is everything that I have for folks today. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to our office. More generally, our email address at the office is ocd@medford-ma.gov. You can also reach out to Ashley Williams. Her information is over here, awilliams@medford-ma.gov. And our office phone number is 781-393-2480. Looking forward to working with you all and wishing you a great week.